Nibiru is here, Planet X. I have on my WhatsApp profile and I ask people to respond to whether this thing is true or not. But the interesting thing is that after finish reading the Sumerian text, I finished reading that about maybe 2 months ago. I decided to look to see if what is in the Sumerian text is true. So therefore I went on YouTube and started Googling Nibiru Planet X. Truly, they appear in many of these videos. Nibiru. Also, Google Sky blocked out part of the sky where Nibiru is coming in. This thing is being pulled in by the sun. The last time Nibiru was here is when Noah had the flood. This is not a joke. We're in real trouble. So here what? Last night I was having a conversation with my sister-in-law Dee. And Dee told me in May 2015, they were in Beckway and something blocked out the sun. It wasn't an eclipse. Something just blocked out the sun and there was this big ring around the sun. So she came out from the tower because she working at the Beckway airport and she shoot her phone, take her phone and take some pictures in the sky. So she shared those pictures with me last night. On those pictures, she sent 9 pictures, and in those pictures, you can see 9 dots on the pictures. The thing about it is that the dots are not black dots. The dots are white dots or clear dots. Now, if they are white dots, that means that there are planets behind the sun. If the dots are black, that means there are planets in front of the sun. So here, all the pictures that she has little white dots saying that the planets were behind the sun. But there's even something even more interesting in one of those pictures. She has a picture of Nibiru with wings. So ladies and gentlemen, Nibiru is here. For those of us who want to continue to live ungodly, wicked, and deceitful. For those of us who want money and possession and love the things of the world. If all that is written in the Sumerian text is true, if all that is written in the ancient scriptures is true, the same scriptures that they didn't want you to know about, the same scriptures that they don't want you to read, all the apocryphas, if those scriptures are true, and I believe that they are, and I have physical evidence of Nibiru in our solar system, scientists estimate that we have until possibly March next year, or possibly March the following year. Nibiru is estimated to pass between Earth and the Sun. If Nibiru is 5 times larger than Mars, that means the space between Earth and the Sun is very limited for this big, heavy, dense dwarf star to pass. That means everything that exists on Earth will be annihilated. But even greater than that, Nibiru have a long tail that is millions of miles wide and millions of miles long. So for those of us that would see Nibiru coming out of the sun, Nibiru with its heavy gravitational pull is going to rip the ocean and all the water out of the sea. It is going to tilt the earth, they say about 30 degrees on its axis. So the North Pole will be where the South Pole is, and the South Pole will be the North Pole is. But even greater than that, after Nibiru pass between the Earth and the Sun, come back around, we will be directly in the tail of Nibiru. And that tail is not smoke. That tail is filled of meteorite, rocks, and ice. It's going to bombard this planet. Life as we know it wouldn't exist. All the rich Americans and Europeans who build caves and hide in holes in the rocks and in the mountain, all are fulfilling the writing of Yeshua in Matthew chapter 24. He says, when you see these things, know it is the beginning of trouble. It is a trouble that has never been since there was a nation on the earth and will never happen again. He said the trouble, the time of trouble is now. All of us who hold on to some kind of religious belief, whether we call ourselves Pentecostal, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, that wouldn't count. You have to put your trust in Yeshua and in Him alone, and the unbegotten Father who created all. There's hope. The Holy Scripture tells us that the righteous shall be saved. So if you want to be righteous, you have a very small window, just a couple of months, possibly a couple of months, change the way we live. To change the way we think. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son. We were eating and drinking and married and living in marriage until the flood came. Don't let that happen to you. As it was in the days of Lot, so shall it be with the coming of the Son of Man. I am here to say that America had the largest gay parade in July this month. Just 2 weeks ago. And the gay now suing the publishers of the Bible for millions of dollars, $70 million, for the story of Lot and homosexuality. They want money for that. It wouldn't matter. They can get all the money that they want. It doesn't matter. Scripture is coming to fulfillment. So this is my advice to you. Go back and read the King James Version, but more interestingly, read the other scriptures that are out there. Read the other texts. Read them. Read the forgotten books of Eden that the churches don't want you to know about. Read the books of Enoch. Read the book of Joshua, the book of uprightness, the book of a righteous man. Read that book. But most importantly, get your hands on the Nazarite way. Because Yeshua was a Nazarite. Some people call him Jesus, but his name is Yeshua. He was a Nazarite. There was a way that the Nazarite used to live. These Nazarite are the people who did hide the Dead Sea Scroll so that we can find them today. Read it. Read the Gospel of Peace, book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. In book 4 of the Gospel of Peace shows you how to live. You get up in the morning, you do your meditation, you say your vows, you honor the earth, and you live a righteous life. I know I'm talking about, because it did not have bigger scumbag on the earth like me. Homemonger, love vanity, nice things. I've been there. This is a call to reality. This is a call for us to wake up. This is a call for us to do better. So read, study the book, the Gospel of Peace. It is the original gospel from which all the King James version of the gospel came from. I'm asking you to go on YouTube, look at the evidence, the scientific evidence for Nibiru. Read the Sumerian text as it was decoded and translated by Zachariah Sitchin. Some people say Zachariah Sitchin didn't know what he's talking about, but the fact remains that Zachariah Sitchin is the only person that could have picked up the Babylonian text and give us some kind of inclination, some kind of warning about what is coming. For 8 years, Google Sky had a curtain blocking off the part of the sky where Nibiru was coming in. 2 weeks ago they take it down. So anybody want to see what is called Nibiru, go on Google Sky. It has some coordinates there. Take the coordinates, plug it in your computer, and you would see Nibiru coming with wings. Nibiru, the planet of destruction. Pay attention to Revelation. The 7 plagues of Revelation. Go back again to Matthew and read that. And Yeshua sitting on the mount, the disciple came to him and asked him, tell us what is the end of the age and of your coming. And he says, see that no man deceive you. As your first test, don't let nobody deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying that yes, I am Yeshua, I am the Christ, but shall deceive many. He said, then you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, famine and pestilence in diverse places. He says, all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. He said, then you shall see the signs in the sky, in the heavens, in the sun and the moon. The sun shall not give its light, the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall fall from heaven. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. And go back and read Revelation. Revelation tells you about the 7 great plagues that is going to come upon the earth. And all these plagues, all these things are signs in the heaven. The sun, the moon, the sea turn into blood, days of darkness when you can't see the sight. Something have to block out the sun in order for us to have days of darkness. And if Nibiru is coming between the earth and the sun, Nibiru is going to block out the sun. The Bible said the heaven shall roll up like a scroll, and men shall flee to the rocks and to the mountains, saying, hide me from the face of him who sat upon the throne. You wouldn't find these truths in your church. You would not find these truths in your religious belief. You have to forget about your religious belief and start seeking for yourself, because you could only find him when you seek him with all your heart. The Holy Scripture is going to tell you, love not the world, not the things that are in it. For he that loveth the world, the love of the Father is not within him. For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh. We think that the lust of the flesh means men lusting after women. And I used to think so when I used to go to church. I used to think the lust of the flesh mean man lusting after woman, but it doesn't mean that. It means what it says. Lust of the flesh, you bone suckers, you meat eaters, you killers of all that the Almighty creates, you that kill all the animals and eat it, you cannibals, what you call kobo, who love to eat flesh, beef, pork, chicken, corned beef, sardine, killing all of nature and putting it into your system. Love not the world, not the things in the world, for all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh. Or you can't eat your food without eating meat. And you'll have to strew down your beef and strew down your chicken and get your gravy. And listen to this. It's gravy you like. So you end up in the grave. Because that's what it means. It means the death residue of the meat. How could you open your mouth, say you're praising the Most High, when you just don't kill something, or you just eat something that somebody else killed? The embalmed fluid that is put in corned beef and sausage to preserve it for years, tens of years. All are going to your system? Where you going with that? For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh. Every single person I know, 99.9% of the people I know, they eat flesh. They crave flesh every day. You can't eat your food without it. Lust of the flesh. The lust of the eye. Everything you see you want. You're covetous. Your neighbor buy a car, you are one. Build a house, but you are one. Put an addition, you are one. You covet the man, you covet the woman for everything. New style coming, new shoes, hairstyle. People have on wig. People wearing all kind of horse hair and plastic. You are one too. Why? Because there's somebody wearing one. The new style coming, the dress, because what? The lust of the eye. Everything you see you want. And the pride of life. You're humble. You feel you're better than everybody else. Because you probably have a master's degree or you probably have a PhD. You think you're better. You're walking like a peacock with your chest stick up. And you figure that you is somebody and you're looking down on everybody else. The pride of life. So it says lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride. He said all is of the world. He says if you love those things, the love of the Father is not with you. I don't care how much church you go to. This is the fact of life. Nibiru is here, and scriptures are being fulfilled. The Mayans, according to their calculation, in 2012, December 2012, would have been the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world, because we're in 2015 now. I am talking to you today on the 14th of July, 2015. Tomorrow is my birthday. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was the beginning of your consciousness. It was the beginning of the time for you to wake up. I will try to attach the pictures that were taken in Beckwith, St. Vincent, at the Patchett Farm Airport by Denica Compton. A lot of other people in Beckwith have those pictures. But there was no eclipse that day. This is the thing. When you look at these pictures that show you Nibiru, it didn't just show you Nibiru. She took about 9 pictures. And each one of these 9 pictures showing you different planets. Now, the pictures in them showing you a filter in front of the sun. We don't know what it is, filter the sun. But we could see the planets and them behind the sun. And how I know we see the planets, those little white dots that we see in, those white dots that we see in tells me that the planets are behind the sun. If the planets were in front of the sun, then there wouldn't be white dots, the dots would have been black dots. So we have all the planets. We have about 8 planets showing in 8 different photographs behind the sun. And then to the bottom of one of the photographs, it's showing you this white dot with red wings coming in, which is Nibiru. So what are you going to do? Deny it now?